We're starting Be'ez with Hashem Siman Tzadik in Vayol Moshe, and we're starting a new subject now. The subject is the avodah zarah that exists in Eretz Yisrael today, the churches and etc. And the taina that you can't have a Medina because if you have one, you're going to have responsibilities for destroying those things, and we can't do that. Bisman is that.
This society you're going to like. They're going to want to burn down the mosques.
Right. Okay. So now it's very important to understand that all these simanim from tzaddik basically until tzaddik test is all about this subject, and the point here is not that they should be doing it. They should be burning down churches. By the way, he's not talking about mosques. I think he's only talking about churches.
Remember, mosques are vozar gemur as we learned before.
All right.
In the mosque,
so
they still consider the Torah.
It's important to note that the point in these simanim is not that he's saying that they should do it. The point is that they can't have a state now because the state now would have to do it, and since we can't do it, we can't have a state now. It's not the time. Take a look, just before we start Tzaddik, take a look in Tzaddik Ches, Siman Tzaddik Ches. Okay, it's on page Kuf Yud. It's in the paragraph starting V'im Kain, and you look on the line starting V'gam Mizeh. It's about 7 lines down into the paragraph. It says V'gam Mizeh b'atzmoi, from the fact itself, Shaloi nuchal levayer ho avodah zarah sheberetz Yisrael, that we can't destroy this avodah zarah.
Why can't we?
Because it would cause a world war.
Right, because
the world's not ready for it now. The world does not makir the falseness of the avodah zarah now. Right, so you can't go and do something against them without creating a war.
Like if the were to bomb a church, that would cause hatred of Israel without limits.
So who birur? He says that's goof for the raya. Shalo higia adayin zman agula. That the zman didn't come, and the zman didn't come to do any of the preparations for gula either. And just to show how someone understood these simanim wrong, I brought in Menachem Kasher's chapter on this. Yeah. So he quotes the whole shtickle here from aguda v'al. It's also the same idea as this. And then he says, basically, Uv'chinuch mitzvah taf lamed vav kasav. The chinuch, when he talks about the mitzvah of destroying avodah zarah in Eretz Yisrael, he says, V'noy heges b'schar moving the kavis. It applies to men and women. B'chol makom, b'chol zman, shemitzvah aleinu la'abed shem avodah zarah. Then he adds on, im yesh koyach b'yadeinu, if we have the power. Okay. Aval ein anu chayavim lirdoi facharel li'abda ela be'eretz Yisrael b'zman sheyadeinu tekifa alo evdeha. Only in the time that our hands are in power over the people who do this avodah zarah. And then the Chidduch says again, the over al zeh v'loy ibda. If someone is over on the mitzvah, kol zman sheyesh sipek biyadoi, when he has the power to do so, bitul asezu, he was mevatel his mitzvah. So again, so he's saying that it's only when you have the power. So
we see that
the point of this chinuch is that bisman zeh you can't have a state. But Kasher takes the exact opposite lesson from it. He says, you see from here that the rebbe is wrong, that it's only when the yesh koyach b'yadeinu, but bisman is there, we don't have the koyach, so we can't do it, so we can have a state without doing it. That's exactly the opposite of the point we're supposed to get from this chinuch. So now let's start the siman with this hakdama. Back to siman tzadik. V'hinei lashon harambam b'perek zayin mehilchus akum halacha alaf. The Rambam starts out with the mitzvah to destroy avodah zarah, and he says like this: mitzvah saseh hu la'abed akum. It's a positive commandment in the Torah to destroy avodah zarah. Umesham sheha, and anything that's used to serve avodah zarah. V'chol anasa b'shvilo, and anything that's made to give honor to the avodah zarah. Shenemar abed to abdun es kol ha'mekoymos. Pasuk in Parshas Re'eh, it says, destroy all the places that they worship their getchkas. Uva Eretz Yisrael mitzvah lirdoif achareha. And the Rambam says in Eretz Yisrael it's a special mitzvah to run after it and destroy it. Ad shena abed oisa mikol artzenu, until we get rid of it from the whole land. Ava b'chutz la'artz, the Rambam says, ein anu mitzuvim lirdoif achareha. There we don't have a mitzvah to run after it. Ela kol makom shenichboi shloisoi na'abed kol akum shaboy. That any place that you conquer, you destroy all the avodah zarah that's in it. Destroy their names, their name of avodah zarah from these places. That minamakam hahu. Destroy the names from that place meaning Eretz Yisrael. That in Eretz Yisrael you have a mitzvah to run after it and chase it down, track it down. But you don't have to chase and track it down in chutz la'aretz. Ad kan l'shoynai. That's the end of this Rambam. Hamisboinen b'lashon zeh. If you look carefully in this Rambam, Yireh, you'll see sheyesh kan gimel dinim, that there are three different levels of this halacha here. Ha'echad, the first one is shekol hamoitze avodah zarah. Whoever finds an avodah zarah b'chol makom shehu, any place it is, bein ba'aretz, bein b'chutz la'aretz, no matter where you are in the world, tzarich la'abdo levaro, you have to destroy it.
Even chutz you have to do it.
Yeah, if you find one, in other words, if it comes to your hand, not talking about running into their property and destroying it.
Right, because that's going to cause you want to kill a kaddish.
Yeah, talking about if you find an avodah zarah in your property, then you destroy it. Okay, the din zeh huva gam be tur shulchan aruch soif siman kuf mem vav. This din is brought down shulchan aruch because it's negay even bisman zeh. It has nothing to do with conquest. It has to do with if you have an avodah zarah by you, or a mashamish avodah zarah, something that was made for avodah zarah, destroy it. The heti kabeis Yosef al zeh lashon Rambam hanal. And the Beis Yosef on this tour, when he brings this din, the Beis Yosef brings this Rambam.
Really? So in our time,
This din to destroy avodah zarah in your own property is learned from this pasuk.
So in our time, there's such a mitzvah. Even if it comes to your property, if one moves into a house of avodah zarah, he gets the mitzvah of destroying it.
Right now, the zeh einoi tali klal b'kibush makom, that has nothing to do with conquest. Ki im b'mitzias avodah zarah. If you find the avodah zarah, you have to destroy it. However, the other parts of this Rambam, that depend on conquest, that the Rambam says when you conquer Eretz Yisrael, you conquer Chutz La'aretz, so that that's not brought down the Torah and the Shulchan Aruch, because she'enam meviim ela hanoeg bisman hazeh. Torah and Shulchan Aruch only bring down things that apply today. V'kibush milchama einoi bisman hazeh. Conquering with a war never applies bisman hazeh.
But Zionists try to bring proof from the defense, from the defending without attack.
Right. However,
we're talking about police force, not a military force.
And it's talking about a force that's
about militia.
Protecting in Chutz La'aretz, under the country where they live.
And it's a militia fighting, not a army fighting. Meaning, if we're being attacked.
Then he says, "Kamasha Kostov Hanoida BiYehuda Evan Oezer Madura Tinyana Simon Kufchav Tes." And Rabbi Yehuda writes this thing that today we don't have milchama. After the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash, Eino Shaykh Kibush Milchama. There is no such thing as conquering with an army, with a war. Kivan she'ein melech, since we don't have a king. V'loy chalutz tzava, we don't have an army. Ad bias hamashiach. So very good to know this in Rabbi Yehuda. He says,
Evan Hazer. How does it try to Evan Hazer?
It's in the middle of a long shuvah about various mitzvahs that aren't negei bisman hazeh. He talks about Yefas Toyar. He says, Gam Yefas Toyar loy mashkachas law. You can't find this din of Yefas Toyar bisman hazeh.
Right.
Yefas Toyar, you conquer a city and you get a woman from the city. Doesn't apply. Why not? El b'shas milchama. It's only during a war. We don't take people out to a voluntary war, an optional war.
Ella
al pi bezdin shel shivim be'echad. Unless you have the 71 Sanhedrin that's possibly you have to do it. Kemafurish b'mishnah reish Sanhedrin, like the Mishnah says in Sanhedrin daf beis amid aleph. Ukvar nis batel bezdin shel ayin aleph. There is no such thing anymore ever as a 71 Sanhedrin. Me'at hanoim ve'oid, and not only that, shel achar churban ein lanu melech. We don't even have a king to start the war. We don't have an army. That's why we don't have such a thing as Yefas Toyar. Now, take a look at this. By the way, the kasha that the Rebbe speaks about for many simanim throughout the Sefer, why the Rambam doesn't bring the Shalosh Shvuos. I always want to show people this Rambam. The Rambam really explains himself why he doesn't bring the Shalosh Shvuos. Take a look in. This is page 3 of the notes here for this year. It's
that's the conclusion.
It's the Sefer, the conclusion of the Sefer Mitzvahs. Before the Sefer Mitzvahs, before he starts listing the mitzvahs, the Rambam has 14 shorashim.
Yeah, that's what the Rambam said, that we don't have what Bisman Hazeh very openly. Yeah. So you got to be silly to say that we're doing a mitzvah Bisman Hazeh.
So the Rambam
many times argue that
he says that there are some mitzvahs that at the end of the Shoresh Yudal he speaks out what he's about to do. He's about to list all the mitzvahs. Yeah. And some mitzvahs, the Rambam says, this mitzvah is only Bisman Shebeis Hamikdash Kayam, whatever. He speaks out sometimes the mitzvah is only this time, not that time. But he says certain ones I'm not going to speak out because it's obvious. Yeah. And one of those that's obvious is he says like this: V'yadua, it's known shehamilchama ukvisha sayaros, that fighting wars and conquering cities lo yiyu el b'melech, they can only take place through through a king. Uva'atza Sanhedrin Gedola, only with the Sanhedrin of 71. The Kohen Gadol, and only with the Kohen Gadol with the Urim Metumim. Kamash Nemer V'lifnei Elazar Kohen Yamoid. V'lachein Pirsum Elu Kulam Eitzel Roy Vanashim. Since everybody knows that already, Kol Mitzvahs Aseh Oy Lois Aseh Shed Tisla Bekarbonis Oy Ba'avoidus Oy B'Mises Bezdin Oy B'Sanhedrin Oy B'Navi Melech Oy B'Milchemes HaReshus. The Rambam says any mitzvah that depends on war, Loy Etz Tarich Loymar Ba Zois Loy Tischayav El B'Fnei Abayis.
So it's very pashut. It's so pashut.
The Rambam didn't have to speak out when he spoke about wars that they're only negay b'zman abayis. It's obvious.
So it's very much only when the Zionists believe that we still have Milchemes Zman Hazeh.
Yeah, what they say is that this is only Milchemes Reshus, but Milchemes Mitzvah is you don't need a Melech, you don't need a Sanhedrin, and what they're doing is Milchemes Mitzvah because they're defending lives. Yeah. That's what they tie it. But really, they're not defending lives; they're defending land. But that's not for now. Can't talk about everything now.
Right.
Just wanted to show that Rambam. The Rambam is saying
powerful position. That's what it's all about.
The Rambam does say this that he doesn't bring down things that are negayat to Muhammad. He doesn't say beferish that he does bring it down, but he doesn't say beferish that it's not noig bisman hazeh because it's obvious to everybody. Okay, weiter. Yeah. So Noy Yehuda Chuf Kachtes. Then he says like this: Hadin Hasheni, the second din mentioned in the Rambam about destroying avodah zarah. Kasav Rambam zal shekol makom shenichpo shoysay. Any place that we conquer, af b'chutz la'aretz, tzarich la'abed es kol avodah zarah sheba. We have to destroy all the avodah zarah there. Umida Amar kol avodah zarah sheba. That he says any avodah zarah, b'vadei shekavanasei shelo yishar sham shum avodah zarah. He means that you have to destroy every single avodah zarah, no matter what. Even in people's houses. But in the place that we conquer, Al Yidei Yisrael. If you don't say that, then it wouldn't be shaykh to say he's destroying all of it. So, that's not like the first din. The first din was only when you find it. Now he's talking about everything. Okay? The first din was only something that in your personal possession. It has nothing to do with kibush. It doesn't have to do with conquering. The meir is talking about avodah zarah hamutza. It's talking about avodah zarah that you find. If you're living in New York, you don't have to go around New York and destroy all the avodah zarah in New York or Medina. It's only a place where the Jewish people conquered it. Then you have to destroy all the avodah zarah that's in that place. And adin hashlishi, the third din in the Rambam, the third madrega here is Eretz Yisrael. You have to go further, and what do you have to do? You have to run after and chase down the avodah zarah to destroy it. And the question is, what does this mean? It says, you don't have to do that lirdoif in chutzlaretz. The Rambam doesn't explain clearly what does it mean to chase it down, because if it means to destroy everything, you have to do it. You have to do chutzlaretz too. He says the kivan shegam b'chutzlaretz tzarich levayer kol avodah zarah sheba makom. Since even in chutzlaretz you have to do that, so then shekavshu ma efshar lasos yoser be'eretz Yisrael. What more could you be doing in Eretz Yisrael? That's the question here. So, first teretz is going to be that it depends on when you do it. That redifa means you do it before the kibush, and chutzlaretz to do it after the kibush. So he says like this: V'nira, it would seem to be the teretz would be shehu al derech she'amru b'gemara avodah zarah daf mem hey amud beis. It's like the Gemara says there that gidua akum, cutting down the idols is koydem the kibush Eretz Yisrael. Just to understand this better, let's look at the Gemara inside, page 4 here. It says, "The Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi gidue avodas kachavim koydem lekibush Eretz Yisrael." Cutting down, when it says v'asherehem tikadeun, that's the pasuk that we're going on here. One line earlier, v'asherehem, the asherah trees tikadeun, you shall cut down. My avdilei, what do they learn? What do the Rabbanim do with this pasuk? Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, the Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi gidue avodas kachavim. Cutting down the tree of avodah zarah or any avodah zarah is koydem lekibush Eretz Yisrael. It comes before conquest. When Yeshua went in to conquer Eretz Yisrael, before he even started conquering it, he first took the asherah trees and cut them down. Okay, but kibush Eretz Yisrael koydem lebir avodas kochavim. But conquest came before the burning of the avodah zarah. So he left them lying on the ground, didn't burn them until after he finished conquering. Then he went back and he burnt them. The Tani Rav Yosef Like Rabbi Yosef says, knock down the altars, v'hanach, and leave them. Leave them lying on the ground. Break down the matzeva that they use for avodah zarah, and v'hanach, and leave them lying. So the Gemara says, v'hanach sal gedaituch. You're going to tell me leave them lying on the floor? Streifa boy, you have to burn them. So Rav Huna explained, redoif b'yachar kach sroif. First, pursue the goyim, make sure you conquer the land, and then go back and sroif. Then destroy the avodah zarah with burning. Okay? And then the Gemara says, Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda, the one who learned this pasuk v'ashereim to Gadeon, he learned it for something else earlier in this daf. So how does he know this din? Haisfar minale, how does he know it? Nafkale, he learns it out, me'abed to abdun. Abed v'achakach to abdun. First destroy it by knocking it down, and then later on, after you finish the conquering, go back and burn it. There's two stages. There's a knocking down and there's a burning. So that's the Gemara we're quoting here. So he says like this, that's only in Eretz Yisrael, but in Chutz La'aretz you don't have to do that. You can wait till you finish conquering before you start knocking it down. He says, Gedui akum koydem l'kibush Eretz Yisrael, shechutz la'aretz, shebechutz la'aretz, in Chutz La'aretz, terem shekoivshin, before you conquer, ein chiyav li'erdoi fachar avodah zarah. You don't have to go and run after and knock down the avodah zarah. Elo imoitz l'fanav tzarach la'abed. If you happen to run across it, you destroy it, but you don't have to go looking for it. You don't have to make that your priority. Only after you finish, then kivan shirishis Yisrael allow. Since it's the Jewish government in charge, then you have to go back and destroy the avodah zarah. When you start to conquer, when Yeshua went over the Yarden and he was ready to start conquering, then the chiv started right away. To knock down the avodah zarah terem shekoivshin, before you conquer it. The ulai. It could be the Rambam went a step further than this, and he held that even the burning has to be before the kibush. Why is he saying this? Because the Rambam doesn't say clearly cut down and then burn it later. He just says that mitzvah lirdov acharel ad shena abed oislam mikol artzeinu. He just says go and run after it and destroy it. It sounds like it's a chiyuv just to destroy right away. It doesn't sound like he's saying two stages. So what's pshat in this Rambam? So he says the Rambam holds not like this shita in the Gemara. The Rambam holds that even the burning has to be before. Why? How could he hold against this Gemara? Ki bedrashas elu, because in these drashas that the Gemara makes from the psukim, yesh plukta begemara. There is a machlokes about these drashas. V'tzarachiyun. Tzarachin, if we could come up with such a shita from the Gemara, because really, if you analyze this whole page of Gemara, you'll see that it looks like everybody holds it this way. I mean, you see the Rabbanan and Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda disagree about something else before, and they have psukim for what they disagree about, and then the Gemara comes out. The Rabbanan use Ashereim to Gadeon for this, and where does Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda learn that from? He learns it from Abed to Abdun, but they both learn it. They have different psukim, but they both learn it. So, which exact shita does he mean we could use for the Rambam? But that's tzarachin. If we could make the Rambam shtim with the shita in the Gemara. Okay, Ella. But now he's going to be chayzer from this whole teretz, and he says why? Sheba minchas chinuch mitzvah taf lamed vav. When the minchas chinuch talks about this mitzvah, cost of shezeh she'en tzarach lirdoi v'achar avodah zarah b'chutz la'aretz k'moi be'eretz Yisrael. The chinuch says, he brings the Rambam, and he says, the Rambam says that in Eretz Yisrael you have to be roidef, you have to run after it. Chutz la'aretz you don't. Zak the chinuch, that's only talking by kibush yachid. He says, Zeh she'ein tzarach lirdoi v'achar avodah zarah b'chutz la'aretz k'moi be'eretz Yisrael einoi ela k'shehu b'kibush yachid. That's only kibush yachid. The kibush yachid means that there's a machlokes what it means. One shita holds it means if a yid by himself goes and he conquers a piece of land in chutz la'aretz, that the whole Klal Yisrael didn't participate in it. A melech and a navi didn't participate. One yid went and conquered it. He had his own private army. He went and conquered it. The other pshat is that it means that even if the melech did it, like David the melech conquered Syria. Syria is the classic case of kibush yachid. David the melech conquered Syria. He did it. Api melech, he was the melech, and he had the Sanhedrin and everything. But the problem was that he did it before he finished conquering the whole Eretz Yisrael. There were parts of Eretz Yisrael that were still not conquered, so that's why Kibush Yachid, that's why Syria was Kibush Yachid. So Machlokes what it means. But the Chinuch says that that's only by Kibush Yachid. When Roy of Yisrael went out to the war and made the conquest according to Halacha, they first conquered the whole Eretz Yisrael, according to that pshat, and then they went out and they conquered Syria, then Yesh Loy Din Eretz Yisrael. It's completely Eretz Yisrael, the Chol Dvarav, V'tzarach Lirdof Shal Machar V'dizar B'chutz L'Aretz K'moy B'Eretz Yisrael. Then the din of that place in Chutz L'Aretz becomes exactly like Eretz Yisrael, and you have to be Roidif after the Avodah Zarah, whatever that means. So now, let's see, if Roidif means what he just said, that Roidif means that you go in advance before the Kibush and you go and knock them down, then how is that shaykh by Kibush Rabbim? How is it shaykh to say that by Kibush Rabbim you'll have to do that? You don't have the Kibush Rabbim until the Kibush Rabbim happens. That's the kasha here. That you see the chinuch held, the Sefer HaChinuch held that the Minchas Chinuch, sorry, not the Sefer HaChinuch. The Minchas Chinuch held that when the Rambam was mechalik, and the Rambam said that b'redifa achar avodah zara, it depends. Bein be'eretz Yisrael or Chutz La'aretz, it depends whether it's Eretz Yisrael or Chutz La'aretz. Meiri, this redifa, whatever it is meiri achar kibush. It's something that you do after you finish conquering. It can't be something you do before you conquer, because then how can we say that Kibush Rabbim has a din like Eretz Yisrael that you have to do it? The Kibush Rabbim didn't happen yet. He says, but since it's something that happens afterwards, therefore we could say that it makes a difference kibush yachid or kibush rabbim. If it was a one person doing the kibush or the whole klal Yisrael or the melech doing the kibush. So now we're back to square one. What's the pshat? Mahi haradifa. What is this running after avodah zarah that the Rambam says you have to do in Eretz Yisrael?
Can we continue